Welcome! Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating piece of geopolitical strategy, one that could literally redraw the maritime map of the Indian Ocean. We're going to be unpacking the sharp analysis of 𝐸𝐳𝐸 𝐸𝐺𝐻 and uncovering how a forgotten democracy in the Horn of Africa might just be India's secret weapon, its hidden ace on a new global chessboard. So let's break down how this incredible strategy could actually play out.
First things first, to really get why this region is so important, you have to wrap your head around this one number, 6 million. That's 6 million barrels of oil passing through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait every single day. And that's not all. Almost 12% of all global trade funnels through this tiny maritime choke point, connecting the Red Sea to the Indian Ocean. You see, this isn't just a shipping lane. It's the economic lifeblood for a huge part of the world.
And whenever you have a choke point that's this vital, well, a new game for control is pretty much inevitable. The stability, the politics of the countries along this corridor, they can directly impact global security. And right now, a quiet but incredibly intense geopolitical contest is unfolding for dominance right there, in the Horn of Africa.
So let's take a look at the players on this new maritime chessboard. A whole new set of alliances is emerging, and it's rapidly changing the balance of power. For a major maritime nation like India, believe me, the stakes could not be any higher.
Okay, so on one side of this chessboard, you've got this emerging China-Pakistan-Somalia axis taking shape. China already has a massive naval base in Djibouti. Pakistan just signed a new defense agreement with Somalia, getting crucial port access. What does this all mean? Well, together, they're effectively starting to encircle India's western maritime flank, putting its most important trade and energy routes at serious risk.
And 𝐸𝐳𝐸 really puts it perfectly. He says this axis isn't just some local partnership. No, it's a direct extension of China's famous string of pearls strategy. That's their plan to build a network of ports and bases to project power. And it's aimed squarely at encircling India's western flank. For New Delhi, this is a huge strategic alarm bell going off. But what if there was a countermove? A potential partner hidden right there, in plain sight? So let's pivot away from the threat for a moment and talk about the unrecognized Republic of Somaliland, a stable, functioning democracy in one of the world's most chaotic regions. Now, Somaliland has this really unique and compelling history. Get this, it was actually an internationally recognized independent country for 5 whole days back in 1960, before it voluntarily chose to unite with Somalia. But then, after the Somali state completely collapsed in 1991, it reasserted that original sovereignty, and for more than 30 years now, it has been a peaceful, self-governing de facto state. And, from a legal perspective, Somaliland appears to check all the right boxes for being a state. According to the Montevideo Convention, which is like the accepted international test, it has everything: a population, a territory, an effective government, and the ability to engage with other nations. And yet, it remains completely locked out of the international community. So why is this de facto state all of a sudden so important on this geopolitical chessboard? The answer really comes down to one specific place: the strategic prize of Berbera. It's a port that has the potential to shift the entire balance of power in the region. Berbera isn't just any old port. We're talking about a massive $440 million investment that's turned it into a modernized, deep-water terminal that can seriously rival Djibouti as the main gateway to the Horn of Africa. For a country like India, access to Berbera means way more than just trade. It offers strategic depth, a foothold to project influence, and a way to counter its rivals. And this, right here, brings us to the core of this whole analysis: India's hidden ace. This is where a partnership with Somaliland goes from being just an interesting idea to a brilliant strategic countermove. Let's see how this all comes together. Now, the logic behind this move is grounded in a theory called defensive realism. The idea here isn't for India to become aggressive or try to dominate the region. Not at all. Instead, it's all about maintaining its own security and just restoring the balance of power. It's a move designed to create equilibrium, not to start a fight. And visually, this is what that equilibrium looks like. By partnering with Somaliland, the port of Berbera becomes the third point in this strategic arc of friendly ports, connecting with Chabahar in Iran and Duqm in Oman. This democratic arc would give India a really powerful, stabilizing counterweight to China's network, anchoring its influence through partnership, not through force. Of course, recognizing an unrecognized state, that is a bold diplomatic move, and it definitely comes with risks.
So how could India possibly navigate the potential fallout with Somalia and the African Union? Well, the analysis suggests a very pragmatic, very clever approach.
This is the million-dollar question, right? It's what any policymaker in New Delhi would be asking, potentially alienating Somalia and going against the African Union's stance on colonial borders is a really serious concern. It's a move that would require some very careful calculation. The proposed solution is a strategy of what you might call recognition light. So instead of jumping straight to full diplomatic recognition, India could take it step by step. You start with trade offices, you sign maritime cooperation agreements, you build academic ties. This lets the partnership grow and start delivering strategic benefits while you carefully manage all the political sensitivities. And that brings us to the final, really powerful idea here. Recognition, in this context, isn't some act of charity. It's a declaration of strategic intent. As Adan concludes, it becomes India's hitting ace. It's a bold move, yes, but it's also a rational one that perfectly aligns India's democratic principles with its strategic interests. And it leaves us with one final question to think about. In a world of shifting power, can any rising nation really afford to leave its ace hidden?